Good morning, everyone. Today is a very exciting day for us because we decided to visit Mount Fuji at the very last minute. My parents usually complain about long commute time, so I didn't think they would want to go, but surprisingly they were interested, so we booked our tickets the night before. Quick tip, there are about 5 major bus pickup points in Tokyo that run direct express buses to Mount Fuji. We chose Busta Shinjuku, which is located at the south exit of Shinjuku Station. The bus takes about 2 hours, costs around 2,200 yen, and goes directly to Kawaguchiko Station. Our bus was scheduled for 7:45 a.m., but we didn't leave enough room for mistakes. Quick tip, buses in Japan are extremely punctual, so I recommend arriving 20 to 30 minutes early. Stations here are huge, and finding Busta Shinjuku took us longer than expected. That mistake cost us 8,800 yen because we had to buy new tickets for the next bus. Luckily, buses were running frequently and the next one came in about 20 minutes. It was definitely a stressful morning and I didn't get a breather until we finally made it onto the bus and was forced to slow down. I was pretty frustrated and annoyed with myself, so having that time to cool off was exactly what I needed. I also personally love bus rides. I'm the kind of girl who enjoys doing absolutely nothing, so some lazy sightseeing is totally my jam. The bus was almost empty. I think there were only 3 other people besides my family. The seats were comfy, the views were amazing, and I spent a good portion of the ride napping. Honestly, this commute was a 10 out of 10 for me. Before visiting Mount Fuji, here are 2 important things to do. First, check the visibility forecast. Sometimes the mountain is completely hidden by clouds or fog, which would make the trip pretty disappointing. Luckily, my brother checked the night before and the visibility looked good. Second, bring layers. When we arrived, it was hot and sunny, but by evening it became windy and very cold, kind of like our experience at Shibuya Sky. Our plan for the day was to visit Lake Kawaguchi, get coffee at Lake Bake Cafe, explore Oishi Park, visit Arakura Fuji Sengen Shrine, and walk around Kawaguchiko Station. ChatGPT also recommended trying Hoto, a regional pumpkin miso noodle soup known for being the perfect comfort food in cold weather. But everything changed when my dad spotted a massive roller coaster in the distance. Turns out we were near Fuji-Q Highland, a world-famous amusement park known for its extreme roller coasters and haunted attractions. And the best part, entry to the park is free. The bus actually stops at Fuji-Q Highland, but my brain was not functioning well enough to improvise a new plan. So we stuck with our original stop at Kawaguchiko Station. The first thing we did was ask to change our return bus time. Luckily, you can change your bus time as long as it's before your original departure time and seats are still available. So my tip is to book a later return bus, then change it earlier if you finish your day sooner. We decided to go to Arakura Fuji Sengen Shrine first. But that's when we realized something. Transit here runs much less frequently than Tokyo. Our train required a 40-minute wait, which was a big surprise after getting used to Tokyo's super frequent subway system. And many places here are about 45 minutes apart, so commuting takes up a big chunk of your day. While waiting for the train, we explored the town and tried some ice cream. We also attempted to take the famous Lawson convenience store photo with Mount Fuji, but the lineup was way too long. So instead, we took photos in front of 7-Eleven across the street. It didn't have Mount Fuji in the background, but my dad made a joke about it, so I snapped a photo anyway. Once we arrived at Shimoyoshida Station, the shrine was a quick walk away, and I absolutely loved the town. It reminded me of Inuyasha with cute little shops and stalls along the street. Once we arrived at the entrance, I didn't realize that the shrine requires climbing 400 steps. I hadn't warned my parents. Halfway up, my dad decided to stay behind and watch our belongings. But as we were coming back down, we saw him climbing up. Apparently, he asked ChatGPT if the view was worth it, and Chat convinced him to go. Way to go, Dad. What a champ. Next, we stopped by Fuji-Q Highland since it was on the way. The plan was to check it out quickly and maybe go on a ride if the lines weren't too long. But of course, we stayed way longer than expected. There were huge statues, themed area like Thomas Land and Naruto attractions, food courts, and amazing views of Mount Fuji. But the thing that took the longest was getting our family caricature drawn. By evening, it was getting cold, but I still wanted to visit Lake Kawaguchiko. So I dragged the whole family onto another 40-minute bus ride. Once again, I really enjoyed the commute. The lazy sightseeing was really neat. But photos and videos weren't allowed on this bus, so you're gonna have to trust my word for it. Along the way, we passed many beautiful resorts. If I could redo this trip, I would definitely stay 1 or 2 nights in a lakeside resort with a private onsen. I think my parents would have really liked that. When I travel, I'm more of a go with the flow person rather than a strict planner, so leading this trip has definitely been a learning experience. By the time we arrived at the lake, it was cold and windy, and clouds were starting to cover the peak of Mount Fuji. In hindsight, the better order would have been the lake, the shrine, and then the amusement park. But that's part of traveling, learning as you go. We had a little bit time to spare once we got back at the station, so we went to Hoto Fudo to try the famous Hoto soup. Eventually, we headed back to Tokyo. And later that night, my brother and I went out for dinner nearby. He found a highly rated restaurant, and when we arrived, they were doing their last call. Perfect timing. We ordered a bunch of dishes and everything tasted great. But little did we know, my brother ended up getting food poisoning, which I'll share in the next video. Stay tuned!